The White House has proposed a 43% cut, roughly $26.7 billion, to federal housing programs like Section 8, impacting over 3.8 million Americans who rely on rental assistance. The plan suggests redirecting remaining funds into state-run block grants, okay, under the belief that states can create more efficient and localized solutions. But as the nation faces a deepening housing affordability crisis, this proposal stirs urgent questions about justice, policy priorities, and human responsibility. So let's start by considering the argument of those who are in favor of what Trump is doing. When a system meant to uplift becomes a cycle that enables complacency or fraud, it fails everyone, including those who truly need it. Reforming housing assistance can create space for accountability, ensuring resources go to those who are actively trying to rise. On the other hand, those who are against this move, you think about cutting 43% of housing aid during a crisis that threatens to displace millions and fractures a system already straining to protect the poor. Can a system call itself humane while choosing policy over people, especially when millions are at risk of losing shelter? Well, I don't know. When we look at it from an ethical perspective, choosing fiscal cuts over housing access for 3.8 million people is a moral failing. It denies the essential right to shelter for those with no safety net. But if we look at it from a faith centered view, scripture calls us to provide shelter and protection for those vulnerable as a direct act of worship and justice. Should housing support reflect both grace and growth? If we look at Galatians 6 and 2, as well as 6 and 5, God calls us to carry each other's burdens, but also carry our own load. So, does cutting housing aid contradict this command? True justice means helping the vulnerable without enabling cycles of dependency. So, how can we create systems that reflect God's heart, yet calling each person to responsibility and restoration? Again, as we close with this, there are two sides, the middle ground as well as your truth. So choose wisely. All right. What say you? Put something in the comments. Should shelter be a budget line item or a baseline for human dignity? I'm your girl, Callie. Thank you for joining me here at Humanity of Fame. You have a good rest of your day. Peace.